My chosen one, stop what you are doing for a moment, because this is not a random message. This is not coincidence. This is not an accident in your scrolling. Archangel Michael wants to talk to you for 2 minutes right now, because your pending miracle has finally been approved by the heavens. Yes, you heard that correctly. There has been a file in the spiritual realm with your name on it. A request. A cry. A tear-stained prayer you whispered when no one else was around. A moment when your voice trembled and you said, "God, if you can hear me, please." He heard you. But what you did not see was the process. For weeks, maybe months, maybe even years, something was being reviewed above you. Not ignored. Not rejected. Reviewed. There were delays that frustrated you. Closed doors that confuse you. Silence that almost broke you. But heaven was not silent. It was strategic. And right now, in this very hour, something has shifted. There was resistance. There were forces trying to slow down what was written for you. There were whispers saying, "It's not your time." There were shadows trying to convince you that you were forgotten. But they did not have the final authority. Because when Archangel Michael stands up, battles end. When he moves, chains fall. When he speaks, confusion shatters. And today, he is speaking about you. You have been in a season where nothing seemed to move. You kept checking for signs. You kept hoping for that message, that call, that breakthrough, that answer. But instead, you felt like you were stuck in between. Not where you were, not yet where you are going. That in-between place was not punishment. It was preparation. Listen carefully. Your miracle was pending not because you were unworthy, but because it needed divine timing. Some blessings cannot arrive early. Some breakthroughs must wait until the atmosphere is right. If it had come sooner, it would have been stolen, misunderstood, or mishandled. Heaven was protecting it. There were conversations happening about you in realms you cannot see. Strategies being arranged. Doors being aligned. Hearts being softened. Opportunities being positioned. And today, the approval stamp has been released. This is not a small shift. This is not a tiny favor. This is something that changes the direction of your path. Something that restores what drained you. Something that confirms you were never crazy for believing. But here is the part that may shock you. The miracle you prayed for is coming, but not in the form you expected. You asked for relief. Heaven prepared a vision. You asked for rescue. Heaven prepared promotion. You asked for survival. Heaven prepared transformation. Do you understand what that means? It means the delay was not denial. It was expansion. There were things inside you that had to grow before the miracle could land. Strength, discernment, patience, spiritual awareness. If the blessing had arrived when you first cried out, you would not have recognized its full value. But now you are ready. Archangel Michael is not coming with a whisper today. He is coming with confirmation. There is a spiritual signature being placed over your life. A marking that says, approved. And when heaven approves something, no human can cancel it. You may still see the same walls around you. You may still wake up in the same room. But do not mistake the visible for the final. The shift has already occurred in the unseen, and what shifts in the unseen always echoes into reality. Something you thought was permanently blocked is about to open. Someone who overlooked you is about to recognize you. A situation that drained your hope is about to reverse. But there is one instruction attached to this approval: do not doubt at the doorway. Many people pray for miracles, but when the first sign appears, they hesitate. They question. They overthink. They almost sabotage the very thing they asked for. Not this time. When the sign appears, step forward. When the opportunity knocks, answer. When the intuition rises, trust it. Because this is the moment you have been prepared for. Archangel Michael is reminding you that miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they begin quietly. A small conversation, a sudden idea, an unexpected piece, a connection you almost ignored. Pay attention. The next 14 days hold significance for you. Watch what shifts. Watch who reaches out. Watch what changes inside your heart. The approval is not symbolic, it is active. And here is something deeply personal. The battle that tried to exhaust you was proof that something valuable was attached to your name. The resistance was confirmation. The pressure was evidence. You were not under attack because you were weak. You were under pressure because you were close. Very close. Heaven does not approve small destinies with this level of attention. There is something about your obedience, your tears, your refusal to completely give up, that moved the atmosphere. Archangel Michael stands as a defender, but also as an announcer. And today the announcement is clear: your pending miracle has been approved. Let that sink into your spirit. Take a breath. Feel the shift. This is the beginning of a testimony you will not be able to stay silent about. And this is only the opening of what is about to unfold. Beloved soul, what you are about to understand now will change the way you see every delay you ever complained about. When Archangel Michael spoke about your pending miracle being approved, he was not only announcing a blessing, he was revealing a transition. There is a difference. A blessing can be temporary. A transition changes your entire position. You have been standing in a spiritual waiting room. Not rejected. Not abandoned. Just waiting. And waiting has a way of testing your faith in ways that comfort never could. In that waiting season, you questioned yourself. You wondered if you misheard God. You replayed past decisions in your mind. You asked, did I do something wrong? No. You were being aligned. Alignment is uncomfortable. It requires separation from things that felt familiar. It demands that certain people slowly exit your life. It forces you to release habits that once made you feel safe. And sometimes, alignment feels like loss before it feels like gain. Archangel Michael wants you to know that some of the distance you experienced was divine design. Some conversations had to fade. Some attachments had to weaken. Some distractions had to fall apart. Because where you are going next cannot carry the weight of who you used to be. This is not just about receiving something. It is about becoming someone. The miracle that has been approved carries responsibility. It carries visibility. It carries influence. And heaven had to make sure your character could sustain what your heart was asking for. That is why the process felt longer than you expected. There were nights you felt invisible. Days you felt overlooked. Moments when you almost settled for less because you were tired of hoping for more. But even in those fragile moments, something inside you refused to completely quit. That something was not random strength. It was divine preservation. Archangel Michael has been guarding more than your blessing. He has been guarding your mind. There were thoughts that tried to consume you. Doubts that tried to grow roots. Fear that tried to rewrite your future. But you are still here. Still believing. Still listening. That is not weakness. That is resilience shaped by heaven. And now listen carefully to this next truth. The approval of your miracle has triggered movement in people you do not even know. Conversations are happening about you in rooms you have never entered. Decisions are being influenced in your favor. Doors that were locked are being quietly unlocked. You may not see it yet, but movement has started. And this is where your awareness matters. Because when the first evidence appears, it may look small. It may not match the grand image you imagined. It might come disguised as a simple opportunity, a casual introduction, a sudden shift in someone's attitude toward you. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Many divine breakthroughs enter quietly before they become undeniable. Archangel Michael is urging you to stay spiritually alert. Not anxious. Not desperate. Alert. There is a difference. Anxiety forces outcomes. Alertness recognizes them. You do not need to chase what has already been approved. You simply need to be ready to receive it. And here is something important. As this unfolds, not everyone around you will understand the shift. Some people became comfortable with the version of you that was struggling. They understood you when you were doubting yourself. But when favor begins to rise around you, it can make others uncomfortable. Do not shrink to keep others comfortable. If this message is stirring something inside you, if you can feel that this word connects to your current season, then engage with it. Let your faith move physically. Like this video. Share it with someone who has been waiting on their own miracle. Comment what you are believing for. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, because messages like this are not random motivation. They are reminders of divine timing. And when you interact, you are not just supporting a platform. You are declaring that you are ready for what heaven has approved. Something powerful is building, and you do not want to disconnect right when clarity is increasing. There is more unfolding than you realize. Archangel Michael is not finished speaking over your situation. The approval was only the beginning. The details of how this miracle manifests will stretch your imagination. What seemed impossible will start to feel inevitable. But before that visible shift arrives, there will be one final internal test. Can you believe before you see? Can you stand firm without external proof? Because faith at this level is what seals the manifestation. Heaven has signed it, and now your confidence must agree with it. The next revelation will explain why the battle intensified right before this approval. And when you understand that connection, everything you endured will finally make sense. Hold steady, because what comes next will connect every dot you have been trying to figure out. Faithful one, there is a reason the battle became heavy right before this approval was released. You thought the pressure meant you were losing. You thought the sudden wave of discouragement meant something was going wrong. But in the spirit realm, intensity often increases when breakthrough is near. When Archangel Michael steps forward to enforce a decision from heaven, resistance reacts. Not because it is winning, but because it knows it is about to lose access to you. The last few weeks were not random. The strange tension, the unexpected misunderstandings, the moments of emotional exhaustion that seemed to come out of nowhere. You even questioned why small things suddenly felt overwhelming. It was not weakness. It was a sign that a shift was approaching. When a door that has been locked for a long time is about to open, the hinges make noise. The spiritual opposition you felt was not an indication of denial. It was confirmation of value. No one fights over something insignificant. The pressure revealed the worth of what has your name on it. And Archangel Michael has been standing at the edge of that battle line, declaring that what belongs to you cannot be stolen. But here is what makes this moment sacred. You did not respond to the pressure the way you used to. In past seasons, you might have reacted quickly. You might have defended yourself loudly. You might have allowed fear to dictate your decisions. This time, even when you felt shaken, you paused. Even when you felt misunderstood, you remained measured. Even when you were tired, you did not completely abandon your faith. That growth mattered. Heaven was not only reviewing your request, heaven was observing your response under strain. And you passed a test you did not even realize you were taking. There was a moment recently when you almost gave up internally. You smiled on the outside, but inside you said, "Maybe this is not going to happen for me." That whisper of doubt tried to settle in your spirit, but it did not stay. Something inside you pushed back. Something refused to let go completely. That resistance within you aligned with the defense around you. Archangel Michael fights external battles, but your faith fights internal ones. And when both stand together, breakthrough becomes unstoppable. This approved miracle carries restoration. Not just addition, restoration. Something that felt delayed will feel redeemed. Time you thought was wasted will reveal hidden preparation. Even relationships that fell apart may make sense in a way you never expected. But there is another layer to this. A miracle is not only about changing your circumstances, it is about changing your confidence. For too long, you have second-guessed your discernment. You have wondered if you can trust your spiritual instincts. You have asked yourself if you are truly guided or just hopeful. This approval is heaven's answer to that insecurity. You were hearing correctly. You were sensing correctly. You were not imagining the promise. The delay made you question your spiritual sensitivity, but the outcome will restore it. Archangel Michael is also warning you gently. When this begins to unfold, do not minimize it. Do not say, "It's just coincidence." Do not downplay what God is doing in your life to appear humble. True humility acknowledges the source of the blessing without shrinking the blessing itself. On the miracle with gratitude. The next phase will require boldness. Opportunities will ask you to step forward. Invitations will stretch you beyond your comfort zone. And there may even be a moment where fear whispers, "What if this fails?" But remember this. It would not have been approved if it was designed to destroy you. The spiritual signature placed over your life is not fragile. It is protected. Archangel Michael does not announce something lightly. When he declares approval, it is backed by authority. And here is something deeply personal. The tears you cried in private were recorded. The prayers you repeated when nothing seemed to change were not wasted breath. The nights you felt alone were not empty hours. They were offerings. And heaven responds to offerings. This is why the shift feels different this time. It is not rushed. It is not chaotic. It is steady. Calm. Assured. That is how you know it is divine. Take this moment seriously. Prepare your mind. Clear unnecessary distractions. Release old resentments. Forgive where needed. Because miracles require space. And what is coming into your life needs room to land fully. Archangel Michael is not only delivering a message. He is marking a transition in your story. Your pending miracle has finally been approved by the heavens. And what once felt distant is now closer than you think. If this is speaking directly to your spirit, type "I receive what was approved" in the comments. Blessing code 318 is now activated over your life. And as this word settles in your heart, understand something powerful. When you respond, when you engage, when you declare agreement with heaven, you are not just watching a video. You are participating in a spiritual movement. If this message ignited something inside you, do not let it stop here. Through super thanks, membership, or even a PayPal seed placed through the link in the description, you become part of spreading this light to someone who is still in their waiting season. Scripture says that when you sow, you reap in due season, and that promise is not ancient history. It is living and active. As you give, you open channels for this word to reach souls who are one prayer away from breakthrough. This is not about supporting a channel. It is about fueling a mission that carries hope into dark places. When you move, heaven notices. When you sow, heaven multiplies. Let your action today be prophetic. Release your seed and declare that you are aligned with what God is doing. Those who give into divine assignments never lack provision. Step into this moment with obedience and watch how God responds with increase. Anointed listener, now that the approval has been declared and the resistance has been exposed, there is something deeper you must understand about this miracle. It is not arriving to impress others. It is arriving to reposition you. For a long time, you have been standing in spaces that did not fully recognize your value. You adjusted your light to avoid intimidating others. You lowered your expectations to maintain peace. You convinced yourself that this is enough because you were tired of believing for more. But heaven never reduced your assignment just because you became weary. Archangel Michael is not only a defender in battle, he is also a guardian of destiny. And your destiny cannot remain in an environment that limits it. The approval of your miracle is a signal that relocation is happening. That relocation may not mean moving houses or cities, though for some it might. It means a shift in authority, a shift in influence, a shift in the way you are perceived and the way you perceive yourself. You have outgrown a season you were praying to survive. Read that again in your spirit. You were focused on surviving it, but heaven was focused on graduating you from it. This is why certain things started feeling uncomfortable. Conversations that once felt normal began to drain you. Habits that once satisfied you began to feel empty. Even certain ambitions started to feel small compared to what is stirring inside you now. That discomfort was not confusion. It was expansion pressing against old boundaries. Archangel Michael is revealing that your miracle is connected to alignment with your true scale. You were never meant to think small. You were never meant to accept crumbs when a table was prepared for you. But the waiting season made you question your worth. Now the approval restores your perspective. There will be a moment very soon where you are presented with a choice. It may look like an opportunity that requires courage. It may look like letting go of something familiar to embrace something uncertain. It may look like saying yes when fear is telling you to hesitate. When that moment comes, remember this message. Heaven would not approve what you are incapable of handling. A miracle is not fragile. Your calling is not fragile. The path unfolding in front of you is not built on luck. It is built on intention. But here is where many people misunderstand divine approval. Approval does not eliminate responsibility. It increases it. The doors that are opening will require discipline. The favor that is rising around you will require integrity. The restoration coming into your life will require wisdom to maintain. Archangel Michael stands as a protector, but you must stand as a steward. This next chapter is not about proving people wrong. It is about proving yourself faithful. And something else must be addressed. There are voices from your past that may attempt to re-enter your life when they sense your elevation. People who overlooked you may suddenly show interest. Situations that once dismissed you may suddenly invite you back. Discern carefully. Not every returning opportunity is a divine one. Sometimes old cycles try to reattach when they sense growth. Archangel Michael's role is to guard you, but you must listen to your discernment. If it costs your peace, question it. If it diminishes your growth, reconsider it. If it feels like a step backward disguised as familiarity, do not romanticize it. Your miracle has been approved because it aligns with your forward movement, not your past comfort. There is also a healing component to this approval. You have carried silent wounds from disappointments that never fully closed. You moved on externally, but internally there were still fragments of hurt. This new season is not only bringing opportunity, it is bringing restoration to those hidden places. You will notice yourself reacting differently. Things that once triggered you will not have the same power. Situations that once intimidated you will not shake you the same way. That is evidence of healing taking root. Archangel Michael is not just announcing external victory. He is confirming internal transformation. And here is something powerful to remember. The miracle does not need to be forced into existence. You do not have to manipulate circumstances. You do not have to convince anyone of your worth. What has been approved will find its way to you with clarity. Your only assignment right now is alignment. Align your thoughts with possibility instead of fear. Align your speech with faith instead of doubt. Align your actions with preparation instead of passivity. Because preparation signals expectation, and expectation signals belief. The next stage of this journey will reveal how the approval begins to manifest in practical, tangible ways. You will start seeing patterns shift. Conversations align. Timings synchronize in ways that feel too precise to be accidental. This is where your awareness becomes your advantage. Do not sleep on subtle miracles. Do not dismiss quiet breakthroughs. The loud testimony will come, but it often begins with quiet confirmations. Archangel Michael has spoken. If it has approved, and you are no longer standing at the edge of uncertainty. You are stepping into a season that was delayed, refined, and protected for a reason. What unfolds next will not just answer your prayers. It will redefine your confidence in who you are becoming. Chosen vessel, something subtle but powerful is beginning to happen around you, and if you are not paying attention, you might miss how intentional it is. The approval from heaven was not a dramatic explosion. It was a divine release, and releases often begin quietly, like a shift in the wind before a storm changes direction. You may have already felt it, a strange calm where there used to be anxiety, a small spark of hope where there used to be heaviness, a sense that something is moving, even if you cannot yet see what it is. That is not your imagination. Archangel Michael does not just announce approvals, he enforces them. And enforcement means that what was once delayed must now begin aligning. Pieces that were scattered are starting to move toward each other. Timelines that seemed disconnected are beginning to merge. You are entering a synchronization season. For a long time, things felt out of sync. You would try to move forward, and something would block you. You would plan carefully, and something unexpected would interfere. You would build momentum, and then it would suddenly stall. It felt like pushing against invisible resistance. That resistance is lifting, not because life will suddenly become effortless, but because the spiritual clearance had been granted. The weight that made everything feel harder than necessary is being removed. What once required extreme effort will begin to flow with unusual ease. Do not be surprised if tasks that used to frustrate you start resolving quickly. Do not be shocked if a conversation you feared turns out smoother than expected. Do not overanalyze when a door opens faster than you anticipated. This is what approval looks like in motion. Archangel Michael is also revealing that your miracle has layers. The first layer is external change. The second layer is internal confidence. But the third layer is influence. Yes, influence. What is being approved over your life is not only for your comfort. It carries impact. There are people watching you who have quietly drawn strength from your endurance. There are individuals who never told you that your resilience inspired them. There are even strangers who will encounter your testimony later and find hope because you did not give up now. Heaven does not invest this level of attention into something small. You may have underestimated your own spiritual weight. You thought your prayers were simple. You thought your struggles were ordinary. But the battle intensity revealed something greater. Your life carries ripple effects. This is why the enemy tried to exhaust you. If he could make you quit privately, the public testimony would never exist. But you did not quit. Even when you slowed down, you did not surrender your faith completely. Even when you doubted, you still searched for answers. Even when you were tired, you still listened for guidance. That consistency activated protection. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over purpose, and your purpose is tied to this miracle. The approval is not random blessing, it is strategic positioning. There will be moments in the coming days when you feel an unusual urge to prepare. You might feel led to organize something, update something, learn something new, reach out to someone, or clean up unfinished tasks. Do not ignore those nudges. Preparation is your cooperation with what has been approved. Miracles are divine, but participation is human. Heaven opens the door, but you must walk through it. Heaven aligns the opportunity, but you must respond. Heaven releases the favor, but you must steward it wisely. And here is something important to guard against. As momentum increases, doubt may try one last time to whisper, "What if this is temporary?" That voice will try to minimize what is happening. It will attempt to convince you not to get your hopes up. Recognize that voice for what it is, a remnant of old fear. You are not in the same season anymore. The approval shifted your position. What once felt unstable will now begin to stabilize. What once felt uncertain will now begin to clarify. Archangel Michael is reminding you that stability does not mean perfection. It means foundation. The foundation under your life is strengthening. You are being repositioned from surviving to building. From open to expectant. From questioning to knowing. There is also reconciliation energy around you. For some, this may involve restored communication. For others, it may mean closure that brings peace. Either way, unfinished emotional chapters are beginning to resolve so that you can step forward without hidden weight. This is not coincidence. It is orchestration. The miracle's approval is causing invisible adjustments in visible spaces. And soon, what you sense internally will have undeniable external proof. When that proof appears, do not say, "I got lucky." Say, "Heaven was faithful." Archangel Michael has declared movement. The spiritual atmosphere around you is no longer stagnant. It is active. And the next revelation will uncover why this miracle had to wait for this exact version of you. Not the person you were last year, not the one you were during your weakest moment, but the one you are becoming right now. Because who you are now can sustain what is coming. Warrior of faith. The reason this miracle had to wait for this exact version of you is deeper than you realize. If it had arrived a year ago, you would have celebrated it. But you might not have protected it. You might have shared it too quickly, trusted the wrong voices with it, or allowed insecurity to shrink it. Growth was required before arrival. Archangel Michael sees timelines from a higher perspective. What feels delayed to you often looks perfectly timed from heaven's view. The version of you standing here now carries more discernment, more restraint, more quiet strength than the version who first prayed for this breakthrough. A difference matters. You have been refined by disappointment. You have been sharpened by silence. You have been matured by moments when no one clapped for you, no one encouraged you, and no one even noticed your effort. That hidden strengthening built a foundation inside you. Now when the miracle manifests, you will not panic. You will not cling to it desperately. You will not build your identity around it. You will steward it. This is what readiness looks like. Archangel Michael is revealing that heaven does not only answer prayers, it prepares people for answers, and preparation often feels like isolation. It feels like being overlooked. It feels like walking alone. But isolation trained your focus. Being overlooked trained your humility. Walking alone trained your dependence on divine guidance instead of human validation. You are not the same person who first whispered that desperate prayer, and that is why the approval came now. There is also something shifting in your voice. You may not notice it fully yet, but your tone has changed. You speak with more clarity. You hesitate less. You apologize less for taking up space. That internal shift is directly connected to what has been released over you. Confidence is rising, not arrogance, but grounded confidence. Archangel Michael does not fight battles so you can return to hiding. He fights so you can stand in your rightful position. However, there is a caution in this elevation. As favor increases, responsibility increases. As clarity increases, accountability increases. You will be tempted to slip back into old comfort patterns when things start moving quickly. You might feel the urge to overthink again, to question again, to retreat again. Do not regress. Growth feels unfamiliar at first. Stability can feel strange when you are used to chaos. Peace can feel suspicious when you are used to tension. But do not sabotage calm just because struggle feels more familiar. You prayed for this shift. Now allow yourself to live in it. And hear this clearly. The miracle is not only about one event. It is about momentum. One answered prayer will trigger another. One open door will lead to a corridor of opportunity. One restored area of your life will spill into others. This is compounding favor. Archangel Michael is ensuring that what begins now continues with acceleration. But acceleration requires alignment. You cannot carry bitterness into a blessed season. You cannot hold on to resentment while stepping into restoration. Release what tried to break you, not because it did not hurt, but because it no longer has permission to define you. There is someone listening right now who has been replaying a past mistake over and over. You have been blaming yourself for how something ended. You believe that if you had acted differently, you would not have lost that opportunity. Let this truth settle you. If it was truly assigned to you permanently, it would not have been able to leave. What exited your life made space for what is now approved to enter. Archangel Michael closes doors that would have eventually limited you. Even when it felt painful, protection was involved. Now, as this new chapter gains momentum, you must also participate actively. Support what feeds your faith. Engage with messages that strengthen your spirit. Like this video if it is confirming something in your heart. Share it with someone who is on the edge of giving up. Comment what you are believing heaven for, because speaking it gives it structure. Subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that refuses to settle for spiritual stagnation. And as you continue listening, do not disconnect now. What is about to be revealed next will explain how to recognize the exact moment your miracle crosses from spiritual approval into physical manifestation. You will want to understand that transition clearly. This is not the time to drift away. Archangel Michael has walked you through preparation, resistance, approval, and repositioning. And now you are approaching manifestation. The line between unseen and seen is thinner than it has ever been. Something tangible is about to confirm everything you have sensed. Stay aware. Stay aligned. Stay ready. Because the shift is no longer theoretical. It is approaching visibility. Steadfast heart. You are now standing at the edge of visibility. Everything until this moment has been preparation, alignment, internal strengthening, and spiritual approval. But what happens when the unseen begins to show itself in the physical? What happens when what Archangel Michael declared in the spirit begins to take form in your daily life? This is where many people become overwhelmed. Manifestation does not always arrive in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it unfolds in stages. First, there is confirmation. Then there is opportunity. Then there is decision. Finally, there is establishment. You are moving from confirmation into opportunity. You may begin to notice subtle but undeniable evidence. A door that was previously closed responds differently. A person who ignored you suddenly shows respect. An idea that once seemed unrealistic now feels attainable. These are not random events. They are indicators. Archangel Michael enforces divine decisions with precision. When heaven approves something, the environment must adjust. Not instantly in every direction, but intentionally in key areas. Watch for patterns changing. Situations that repeatedly frustrated you will start resolving. Delays that felt endless will suddenly speed up. Even your internal dialogue will shift from "what if this fails?" to "what if this works?" That internal question is powerful, because belief shapes behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. But here is the test that comes with manifestation. When opportunity appears, it may not look exactly like the prayer you prayed. It may carry different packaging. It may require you to stretch in ways you did not anticipate. It may demand courage instead of comfort. This is intentional. Archangel Michael is not just delivering what you wanted. He is delivering what aligns with your destiny. And destiny often requires elevation beyond familiarity. For example, you may have prayed for financial relief. But instead of sudden money appearing, you are given access to a higher-level opportunity that requires discipline and initiative. You may have prayed for love, but instead of romance immediately, you are first given clarity about what you will no longer tolerate. Manifestation begins with alignment, and alignment sometimes feels like adjustment before it feels like reward. There is also a deeper emotional shift occurring within you. You are less reactive than before. Things that once would have caused anxiety now cause reflection. You are thinking differently, responding differently, even dreaming differently. This is not coincidence. Archangel Michael's presence around your life has been strengthening your discernment. You are no longer easily distracted by every new possibility. You are beginning to sense which opportunities carry weight and which ones are distractions. Discernment protects destiny. And as this miracle begins to surface, discernment will be one of your greatest assets. There may also be a moment very soon when you feel a surge of boldness, a sudden clarity that says, "Now." It may urge you to send that email, make that call, submit that application, have that conversation, take that step you have been postponing. Do not ignore that moment. Sometimes the final piece of manifestation requires a simple act of obedience. Not a dramatic leap, but a decisive movement. Archangel Michael fights spiritual battles, but you walk physical steps. And when the two align, results appear. It is also important to understand that manifestation will expose who truly supports you. As things begin to move in your favor, observe reactions. Some will celebrate genuinely. Some will grow distant. Some may try to attach themselves suddenly. Let your peace guide your access. You do not owe everyone front row seats to your breakthrough. Protect what is unfolding. And remember, this miracle was approved after review. That means it has structure, It has sustainability. It has divine backing. You are not stepping into something temporary. But do not become passive now. This is not the time to relax into complacency. It is the time to stay attentive, to remain grounded, to move with intentional confidence. The next stage will not only show you evidence of the miracle, it will reveal why the delay was actually an act of mercy. There were things happening behind the scenes that, if rushed, could have complicated everything. You are about to understand that what felt like waiting was actually protection in disguise. Archangel Michael did not just guard the blessing. He guarded the timing. And when timing and readiness finally meet, manifestation becomes undeniable. You are closer than ever to seeing it with your own eyes. Precious soul, now you are ready to understand why the delay was not just preparation, but protection. There were elements surrounding your prayer that you could not see. People whose intentions were unclear. Circumstances that were unstable. Foundations that were not yet strong enough to sustain what you were asking for. If your miracle had arrived at the moment you first demanded it, it could have collapsed under pressure. Archangel Michael does not only fight visible battles, he intercepts unseen dangers. He blocks collisions you never knew were possible. He reroutes outcomes that would have looked like blessings at first but carried hidden complications. What felt like silence was actually shielding. There were conversations happening behind closed doors that needed to shift before your name could be safely attached to them. There were decisions being made by others that required time to mature. There were even character developments in you that needed to solidify before responsibility increased. The delay was mercy in disguise. Imagine receiving elevation before your confidence was stable. You might have sabotaged it with insecurity. Imagine receiving influence before your boundaries were firm. You might have overextended yourself trying to please everyone. Imagine receiving abundance before healing from past wounds. You might have mismanaged it to fill emotional gaps. Heaven refused to rush what required structure. Archangel Michael stood guard while fragile elements strengthened. He allowed certain distractions to exit your life so they would not contaminate what was coming. He permitted certain disappointments to redirect you away from paths that looked attractive but lacked longevity. You thought you were being denied. You were being preserved. And now, because of that preservation, the miracle that unfolds will not crumble under pressure. It will stand. There is also something deeper that must be acknowledged. During the waiting season, you developed spiritual endurance. You learned how to pray without immediate feedback. You learned how to believe without visible proof. You learned how to remain steady even when your emotions fluctuated. That endurance is rare. Many people abandon faith when answers delay. Many compromise standards when doors close. Many lower expectations when nothing changes quickly. But you stayed. Even imperfectly, even shakily, you stayed. That staying built weight in your spirit. Archangel Michael responds strongly to spiritual weight. When heaven sees someone who refuses to quit despite pressure, reinforcement is activated. That reinforcement is what you are experiencing now. The miracle has substance because you endured substance. And here is something that may surprise you. Some of the things you lost during the delay were not meant to accompany you into this new season. They would have become liabilities later. Relationships that felt essential would have limited your growth. Opportunities that seemed urgent would have drained your focus. What left was not theft. It was clearance. Now that clearance hath been completed, space exists for what aligns. You may soon look back and feel gratitude for a closed door you once cried over. You may realize that a rejection protected you from long-term frustration. You may even see that a period of isolation saved you from entanglements that would have slowed everything down. This realization will bring peace. Archangel Michael's involvement in your life is not random. His presence signals significance. He does not mobilize without purpose. The fact that your miracle required this level of spiritual oversight reveals its magnitude. And as it begins to take physical form, humility must remain your anchor. Do not allow pride to sneak in when success appears. Remember the nights of doubt. Remember the prayers whispered in weakness. Remember the moments when all you had was hope. Let gratitude ground you, because gratitude sustains what pride destroys. Now, as this confirmation settles deeply within you, respond in faith. Type "I trust" the timing in the comments if you receive this truth. Blessing code 842 is now activated over your season of restoration. And as you step into this protected promise, understand that you are not just a receiver of miracles. You are a carrier of light. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal offering found in the description, you are not funding content. You are watering seeds in unseen hearts. The word declares that those who sow in tears reap in joy, and that promise is speaking over you now. As you release your seed, you align yourself with divine multiplication. This is your moment to act prophetically, not passively. What you give becomes oil that keeps this message flowing to someone still trapped in their delay. Open your hand boldly. Let your generosity echo your faith. Those who build God's work are remembered by heaven. Move now in obedience and watch how provision responds to your courage. Awakened one, something is about to become undeniable. Until now, everything has been unfolding in layers. Approval in the spirit, alignment in your character, protection in the delay, subtle shifts in your environment. But now you are approaching the moment where evidence becomes visible enough that even your logical mind cannot dismiss it. Archangel Michael has walked you through preparation. Now you are stepping into confirmation. This confirmation will not feel chaotic. It will feel precise. It will feel time. It will feel like pieces clicking into place with a calm authority that silences doubt. You will recognize it not because it is loud, but because it is clear. Clarity is one of the strongest signs of divine movement. Confusion drains energy. Clarity restores it. And recently, you may have noticed moments where your thinking feels sharper. Decisions that once seemed complicated are now simpler. You are no longer trying to force answers. You are allowing them to emerge. That is alignment reaching maturity. There is also an emotional steadiness forming within you. You are less desperate for immediate results. You are less reactive to minor setbacks. You are beginning to carry yourself as someone who expects good things rather than someone who fears disappointment. The shift in posture is powerful. Archangel Michael strengthens not only your circumstances but your stance. When you stand differently, life responds differently. When you expect differently, you act differently. And when you act differently, outcomes change. The miracle that has been approved is now pressing against the surface of your reality. You may feel it as anticipation. You may sense it as restlessness. You may notice doors cracking open that once felt permanently sealed. But here is something crucial. When confirmation appears, it may test your confidence one final time. You might receive an opportunity that seems almost too aligned. A conversation that feels too direct. An offer that matches your prayer so closely that it shocks you. In that moment, doubt may whisper, "This cannot be real." That whisper is the echo of your old season trying to hold on. Do not negotiate with that voice. You have survived too much refinement to retreat now. You have endured too much silence to shrink when the answer speaks. You have matured too deeply to sabotage your own breakthrough. Archangel Michael did not declare approval so you could question it into disappearance. Receive it. And as you receive it, guard your focus. Distractions often increase right before establishment. You may suddenly feel pulled in multiple directions. Old contacts may resurface. Unexpected obligations may demand your attention. Not every urgent thing is important. Discern what aligns with your approved path and what is merely noise. Your time is valuable in this season. Your energy is sacred. Do not scatter it. There is also something else unfolding quietly. Respect is rising around you. People who once overlooked your opinion may begin asking for it. Individuals who dismissed your ideas may now reconsider them. Even in subtle ways, your presence is gaining weight. This is not ego elevation. It is recognition of growth. Archangel Michael's protection over your life has created stability in your spirit. Stability produces confidence. Confidence produces clarity. And clarity attracts trust. Trust is currency in this next chapter. The miracle may not only be about a single event. It may involve partnership, collaboration, or increased responsibility. You are stepping into a space where your decisions influence more than just you. That is why refinement was necessary. You are no longer operating from survival mode. You are operating from strategic awareness. You are thinking long-term. You are choosing wisely. You are responding instead of reacting. This internal evolution is the foundation for external reward. And soon, you will look back at the waiting season and realize something profound. The delay removed urgency from your spirit. You no longer chase outcomes out of fear. You move toward them with intention. A difference will protect what you are about to build. Archangel Michael is not finished guiding you. The final phase will reveal how to anchor this miracle so it does not fade like temporary excitement. Because manifestation without maintenance can dissolve quickly. You are about to learn how to secure what heaven has released. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. The evidence is closer than you think, and when it appears fully, there will be no room left for doubt. Brave spirit, you are now approaching the anchoring phase. Manifestation is powerful, but anchoring is what makes it lasting. Many people receive blessings they are not prepared to maintain. They celebrate the arrival but neglect the structure. They embrace the excitement but ignore the discipline. That is not your story. Archangel Michael did not fight for temporary change in your life. He enforced a shift designed to endure. Now that confirmation is becoming visible, you must stabilize it with intention. This means protecting your mindset fiercely. Do not allow sudden success to create carelessness. Do not allow progress to make you complacent. Stay as focused in growth as you were in waiting. There is a rhythm forming in your life. You may already feel it. A steady pace replacing chaos. A quiet confidence replacing anxiety. A sense of order replacing confusion. That rhythm is divine alignment settling into place. Guard it. When something is new and promising, it attracts attention. Not all attention is harmful, but not all of it is healthy either. You may notice people observing you differently. Some may admire from a distance. Some may attempt to get closer than necessary. Discernment remains essential. Archangel Michael's protection does not remove your responsibility to choose wisely. You must still evaluate who has access to your plans. You must still decide who hears your next move before it manifests. Not every detail needs public announcement. Silence can be strength. There is also a financial or practical dimension for many of you. The miracle may involve increase, opportunity, or access to resources. When that happens, discipline becomes sacred. Manage wisely. Plan thoughtfully. Build foundations instead of chasing impressions. Sustainability is more powerful than sudden display. You prayed for stability, not spectacle. Remember that. Emotionally, you are stepping into balance. You are no longer riding extremes of hope and despair. You are grounded. This grounded state is a gift. It allows you to respond strategically instead of impulsively. Archangel Michael strengthens warriors, but wise warriors also protect their energy. Protect your rest. Protect your peace. Protect your priorities. There may be moments in this anchoring phase when challenges appear unexpectedly. Do not panic. Opposition does not mean reversal. Sometimes resistance simply tests the strength of what had been built. You are stronger now. Where you once would have doubted yourself immediately, you now pause and assess. Where you once would have reacted emotionally, you now evaluate calmly. This internal stability is proof that the miracle is not fragile. It is rooted. And here is something important to understand. Gratitude anchors blessings. When you consistently acknowledge how far you have come, you remain aware of the source. Pride isolates. Gratitude connects. Stay connected. If this message continues to confirm what you are experiencing, engage with it actively. Like this video so that others who are in their waiting season can find it. Share it with someone who needs reassurance that their delay is not denial. Comment what shift you have already begun to see in your life. Subscribe and become part of a community that grows intentionally instead of randomly. And as you continue listening, do not drift now. The final revelation will show you how this miracle ties into a larger assignment beyond your personal breakthrough. What has been approved over your life carries purpose that extends further than you realize. This is where everything connects. Archangel Michael did not intervene for a small adjustment. He intervened because your next chapter influences more than just you. The anchoring phase is preparing you not only to enjoy the blessing, but to multiply it. Multiplication requires vision. You will soon sense a desire to build something lasting, to create impact, to leave evidence that your waiting season was not wasted. That desire is not ego. It is calling, and calling demands consistency. Remain steady. Remain humble. Remain disciplined. Because what is unfolding is not a moment. It is a movement in your life. The final stage will reveal how to walk forward with authority, not fear. How to carry what has been approved without shrinking or overcompensating. How to step fully into the identity that matches your miracle. You are no longer waiting for approval. You are living in it. Called one, now you must understand the true weight of what has happened. This was never only about receiving a miracle. It was about stepping into identity. For so long, you saw yourself as someone hoping for change, someone praying for approval, someone waiting for confirmation. But now that Archangel Michael has declared your pending miracle approved and you have begun to see it unfold, your self-perception must shift. You are no longer the one waiting outside the door. You are the one walking through it. Identity determines capacity. If you still see yourself as the person who struggles to be chosen, you will unconsciously shrink opportunities. If you still view yourself as the one who is overlooked, you will hesitate when recognition comes. But if you embrace the truth that heaven has authorized your next chapter, you will move differently. Vision changes buster. Notice how you carry yourself now. There is a steadiness in your decisions, a quiet boldness in your voice. You are not forcing confidence. It is forming naturally. That is the result of alignment. Archangel Michael does not simply fight external battles. He reinforces internal identity. The greatest transformation is not what happens around you, but what happens within you. You are beginning to trust yourself more. You are listening to your intuition instead of dismissing it. You are honoring your boundaries instead of apologizing for them. You are recognizing red flags sooner. You are choosing growth even when comfort tries to pull you back. This is maturity activated by experience. And here is something crucial. With identity shift comes responsibility to remain consistent. Old habits may occasionally try to resurface. You might feel moments of insecurity when stepping into larger rooms. You might question if you truly belong in new spaces opening for you. When that happens, remind yourself of the process you survived. Remind yourself of the delay that refined you. Remind yourself of the approval that was declared over you. You did not accidentally arrive here. Archangel Michael's involvement in your journey was not symbolic. It was strategic. Every challenge you endured built muscle. Every setback strengthened resilience. Every closed door redirected your focus. And now you are equipped. The next level of your life requires leadership energy. Even if you do not hold a formal title, your influence has increased. People observe you more closely. Your words carry more weight. Your reactions set tone. Be intentional. Leadership is not about control. It is about example. And the example you are setting now is one of perseverance rewarded. There may also be an urge within you to uplift others who are still in their waiting season. That urge is not random. It is purpose surfacing. You know what delay feels like. You understand the frustration of silence. You have lived through the confusion of unanswered prayer. Your empathy is now an asset. Archangel Michael strengthens individuals so they can strengthen communities. The miracle you received was not meant to terminate in comfort. It was meant to extend into impact. This does not mean you must solve everyone's problems. It means your testimony has power. When you speak about patience, it carries credibility. When you encourage someone not to give up, it carries authority. Authority born from experience cannot be faked. As you continue forward, remain anchored in humility. Growth does not mean forgetting where you started. Elevation does not mean distancing yourself from gratitude. The higher you rise, the deeper your roots must go. Stay rooted. There will be opportunities that stretch you beyond your previous limits. Accept them with courage. There will be rooms where you once felt unqualified to enter. Walk in with confidence. There will be conversations where your voice matters more than you expected. Speak with clarity. You are no longer the version of yourself that needed constant reassurance. You are becoming the version others look to for reassurance. And still, continue nurturing your own spiritual life. Continue seeking wisdom. Continue refining your character. Approval is not the end of growth. It is the beginning of greater refinement. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian, but you must continue to stand as a steward. Everything that has unfolded was designed to bring you here, to this awareness, this stability, this readiness. The final revelation will tie everything together. It will show you how to walk forward not just with confidence, but with divine authority. Not just with gratitude, but with intentional purpose. You are no longer asking if your miracle is coming. You are living proof that it arrived. Now you must learn how to carry it fully. Victorious one, this is the moment where everything comes together. You began in uncertainty. You listened while doubt still whispered. You held on to this message while part of you wondered if it was truly for you. And now look at what has unfolded within you. Strength where there was hesitation. clarity where there was confusion, expectation where there was fear. Archangel Michael did not interrupt your life randomly. He stepped in because a divine decision had been finalized concerning you. Your pending miracle was approved, enforced, protected, aligned, and now anchored. But here is the final truth you must understand. Approval was never the finish line. It was activation. Activation means you are no longer living passively. You are not just reacting to life. You are moving with awareness that heaven backs your steps. You are thinking differently because you know delay does not equal denial. You are choosing differently because you understand that timing shapes outcomes. This miracle was not just about receiving something external. It was about awakening something internal. Authority. There is a difference between confidence and authority. Confidence believes something good might happen. Authority knows alignment has already been established. Authority walks into rooms without shrieking. Authority makes decisions without begging for validation. Authority rests without fearing sudden collapse. You are stepping into authority. Archangel Michael's presence in your journey symbolizes divine enforcement. What heaven approves cannot be overturned by insecurity, by opposition, or by old narratives. But you must walk like someone who believes that. Stop apologizing for growth. Stop minimizing your progress. Stop expecting disaster every time something goes well. The waiting season trained you. The delay refined you. The silence strengthened you. Now the manifestation is establishing you. There will still be challenges ahead. Life does not become free of obstacles. But obstacles no longer define your direction. You have learned that pressure can signal proximity to breakthrough. You have learned that discomfort can signal expansion. You have learned that silence can signal strategy. That wisdom is part of the miracle. And now, as you stand in this new awareness, commit to walking forward intentionally. Protect your peace like it is sacred. Guard your discipline like it is wealth. Nurture your faith like it is breath. Because what has been approved over your life carries generational impact. Your obedience today influences outcomes tomorrow. Your courage today opens doors for others later. Archangel Michael did not fight for a temporary shift. He stood because your next chapter required reinforcement from heaven itself. To walk boldly, to be clearly, act decisively, trust deeply. And when you see continued evidence of what has been unfolding, do not act surprised. Act prepared. If this entire journey has spoken directly to your spirit, type "I walk in divine authority" in the comments right now. Blessing code 911 is now activated over your life and your next chapter. And now hear this final call as an extension of everything you have just received. The same heaven that approved your miracle is calling you to help release miracles into others. Scripture declares that when you sow into fertile ground, you reap a harvest pressed down and overflowing, and this word is fertile soil. As you step forward through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed through the link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are fueling a river of light that reaches souls still trapped in delay. This is your first-person moment of obedience. As you act, you declared, "Lord, use me to carry this fire further." Do not hesitate in this hour. What you release becomes a prophetic partnership with heaven's work. Those who build the altar never lack provision for their own house. Open your hand with bold faith. Seal this message with action. Step into generosity now and watch how God multiplies what you place in His hands.